Put your hands down, will you?
Can't believe it. It's been how many decades since an Indiana
Almost
Jones
2
movie?
decades.
1989, I believe it was, for the last one. The new movie finally in theaters, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Tell us all about it. We got Matt Soergel, the Times-Union movie reviewer, here.
Hey, Bill. It's great fun. You know, my main thing was I was really hoping they wouldn't embarrass themselves and they wouldn't go over the top and wouldn't be, you know, too self-referential and goofy or either too overblown and serious. It strikes just the right tone all the way through. It's not the best Indiana Jones movie, but it's not too bad, especially if you consider that 19 years has passed since the last time Harrison Ford put on that fedora.
Well, I believe the first one was way back in 1981. We were probably in college then. How does he do in the action scenes after all these years?
He goes through way more than most anthropologists in their mid-60s would be able to go through, and he moves a little bit stiffly and stuff, but you know, that's what they have stuntmen for. And he's not asked to do quite as many crazy things as he did in the old days, so it takes his age into account, and in a most winningly sort of way. And Harrison Ford's really fun to have back. He's a bit grumpy, unfortunately he's not considered sexy anymore. Remember how his old students would look at him and kind of sigh when he came in the room? They don't do that anymore, which is kind of a shame, but I guess time flies for everybody. But he's still real fun. Now the movie does have some problems. It maybe goes into those catacombs maybe one too many times, and the ending's kind of a mess. But you know, getting there is great fun.
And of course, when we first saw Indy back in the 80s, we were talking about the Nazis in terms of a time period. And if I understand it correctly, the movie has moved forward in terms of the time period just like he has in real life. Tell us about the time period and the changes.
1957, the first song you hear is rock and roll, Elvis Presley all the way through the soundtrack, and that works. I mean, it's good to update it. And so the villains now, think about the Cold War, they're Russians, Ruski spies, trying to get their hands on some incredible weapon that involves Indiana Jones, of course.
Now, of course, also a lot of time has passed in the world of effects. Do we see much difference in terms of just how out there the effects are compared to the movies of the 80s?
Actually, good question, because it kind of reminds you, makes you marvel at how good they were back then. I mean, because there aren't, you know, wisely they don't try and do until the ending gets, as I said, is a little bit of a mess. Until then, they stick with what kind of made it happen the first time. Mostly real actors, real stuntmen, and it's better than a lot of the movies where it's all CGI. I mean, there's plenty of CGI in this, but it just reminds you again of how good the old ones were. And once again, they're not trying to remake these movies into something they weren't before. These are very much throwback movies, so the effects are kind of throwback. And actually, this movie has one of my favorite Indiana Jones sequences, though, involving a long chase through the Amazon jungle that involves killer ants, big giant killer ants, and sword fighting on between two jeeps. It's a great fun, and it lasts forever, and you just find yourself laughing and laughing as they push the ridiculousness level even higher and higher and higher.
Now, if I remember correctly, 2.5 stars you gave this one?
2.5 stars.
Now, I'm going to really test your memory. Okay. Do you by any chance remember, after all these years, what movie reviewers were given the originals?
They loved it. Especially they loved the first one. I remember they loved the first one. You know, wonderful, innocent throwback to those old days. The second one, because of Kate Capshaw and a little too much of Indy as the Messiah, I think, it was a little bit old. The second one didn't get kind reviews, but the third one did, the Last Crusade. And I would put this one in third out of fourth place. First one's still the best. The Last Crusade is second. This one's third, and Temple of Doom, I think it was is fourth.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Sure.
And viewers, if you missed Matt's review on the Florida Times-Union, remember you can still always read it on Jacksonville.com. Just go to the entertainment section, click on movies, and look up Indiana Jones, and you'll find Matt's review. I'm Bill Bortsfield for Jacksonville.com.